Peace. Welcome to Spears and Mics. We got a special guest today, our brother Zulu King Enoch,
Peace,
formerly
peace.
known as Ghost, of Lost Tribes Foundation out in Newark, New Jersey, also Irvington, New Jersey. You know what I mean? Salute, King. Peace, King. Much
Hey,
respect to you.
Peace.
peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Thank you guys. I appreciate being on this show, man. It's an honor. You know what I'm saying? And I can't thank you enough for definitely looping me in and asking me to participate in sharing my story and my
Mhm.
experiences being a part of the nation, part of the family, uh,
Yeah,
and doing the things that I do in my community.
yeah. I first want to say that, um, you know, I've bumped into you like random places throughout the years, even when there was times where we were disconnected. I bumped into you at the Young Lord's 50th anniversary, and it's just crazy. Like brothers don't even have to be on the phone, and we just vibrating on this frequency and just wind up in the same spot. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's dope, man, because you're always where the builders are. You're always where the people that are doing the work are at. You know what I'm saying? That's where I could find you. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I always respect that about you. You know what I mean?
Um,
So just want to
uh,
say, we got big respect and big honor for you. That's why we wanted to invite you to tell your story here at Spears and Mike's.
Thank you.
Um, so my first question to you, King, is what brought you to Lost Tribes Zulu Nation when you first joined the family? Like, what were you always a part of Lost Tribes? Have you been a part of any other chapters, stuff like that?
Well, I think it's uh, how can I even put it into proper context? Um, the bros out here will always say that Lost Tribes was like my child. Say I don't have a physical child, so Lost Tribes was like my brainchild. It was a family, a gang basically that I organized and formulated out here in the streets during my 8th grade, 7th grade, going into my high school year. Um,
Hmm.
I say about 94, 95, I was hearing a lot about Zulu through the radio, through music, Hot 97, Bam was on the radios at the times doing lessons here and there. Um, but not just that, we also had cats that come out here from time to time rocking medallions, walking the streets. I didn't really know much of it. It was just the symbols that were all up in my face here and there. And that was just something that was catchy, something that seemed like it was grounding, right? I be honest with you, in the very beginning, I never saw myself becoming a part of Zulu, but I always thought it was a beautiful influence. Lost Tribes was just something that came out of, it was a byproduct of growing up in a family with a single mother raising you, you know what I'm saying? Pop Duke's not around like that. Family kind of going through stuff, feeling conflicts. Um, Me, myself, not really feeling like in place in the family growing up. I'm a half Boricua, half Ecuadorian. I was raised up in the city of Irvington, which was predominantly black. So, that it was a disconnect going on over there. So it was like I want to kind of create something that I could vibe with people that kind of like was like myself. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, it was funny because I never saw myself being a part of anything. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
was just cool peoples, friends with everybody. It was just always jolly go lucky. You know what I'm saying? And very early on, I had a bunch of friends who were trying to create a clique. It's about like 7th grade or something like that. They created, back in the day, crews was making up some crazy names. They called it like the newborn killers or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it was like, yeah,
Hmm.
that was cool. Just joined them. All we did was walk the streets and play music. It was nothing special. You know what I'm saying? And one thing led to another, and it's like I was just a part of the crew. And then, like, I guess because of just how I was and how everybody always was vibing with me and following me, that it kind of catapulted me to being like the head of the crew. Um, and it was funny because at that time and point, I was already kind of like getting into the substance of reading like about movement building, Pantherism and the Young Lord stuff and the AIM, American Indian movement stuff, and that's because of my uncle. My uncle was a Young Lord, you know what I'm saying? And I
Mm,
didn't realize it at the time, but as a young kid, it just inspired me to see a collective of people of all walks of life coming together, doing things together, helping each other, treating each other like family. And it was something that I was missing. I felt like I was missing. And so I wanted to
mm-hmm,
kind of replicate that as a young child out in the streets and kind of brought my friends together that was a part of this crew and created something that we called Ruthless Thugs at the time.
mm-hmm,
And Ruthless Thugs was just through the eighth grade time. And by the time I got into, I say about ninth grade, Ruthless Thugs kind of evolved in what we know as Lost Tribes. And that is a whole story of its own. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
Lost Tribes wasn't just me. Um, Lost Tribes consisted of 7 different leaders. I was, of course, the prime elder of the time. We had beliefs, we had prayers, we had beads, we had colors. This was all something we all organized over throughout the whole freshman year. And
mm,
and Lost Tribes itself was just an essence. It was just everything we wanted. Every one of us, all the brothers, the sisters, we all had that commonality that we felt separated from something in our families. Whether, you know, brothers were being raised by their grandparents, brothers just didn't have family structure in their house. They was just out in the streets. And you just, friends just needed people to be around. You always had them cats that just needed to be around people to feel protected. And long story short, in high school, as you guys know, high school is just where all kind of like a big incubator space. It's kind of like where everything whirlpools around. And at the time, that's where the Kings, the Nietas, Zulu was at its strength. We're talking about that 3-point type of crown shit going on. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about late 90s going into what? Like 95, 96, going 97. This is the age I'm coming into Zulu. And I'm not even a member at more or less at that time. I'm being introduced to people from H2O, who at the time I didn't really know was H2O. I just saw the cats with the medallions, and because I recognized it from what I saw on, on video music box, seeing Zulus dancing and hearing Bam and seeing that on TV from the rap videos, and I starting to see that in my neighborhood more and more, and I'm vibing with them because they're in the high schools and we connecting, and one thing led to another. It was like almost as if like it was just falling in place in synchronicity. Um, I would say how Lost Tribes became a part of Zulu was towards sophomore year. Um, we had a major shift within the actual Lost Tribes itself, where you had a lot of cats who wasn't really feeling where it was going. Some cats who wasn't really about the gang life. It wasn't really about trying to mix around with kings and nietas and stuff like that. People who were afraid was kind of shifting away.
mm,
And so we were adopting a lot of people who were more into that culture, into that lifestyle. And this is more or less around the time where the Outcast chapter was doing their thing out here. Barringer High School, Technology High. They was really making some heavy noise out here with the Latin Kings, and they was doing a lot of stuff with Latin Kings and Yetas in the North Newark area. Um,
Outcast was in the newspapers, I think, right, at one time too, right?
so so
If
they they
I
they
remember
they
that. There was a big news article back in the day.
yeah, I
I'm not
think
sure
it
if it was
was
about them, but it was a
yeah.
big news article. I remember.
Put it like this: it was 90. I would like to say 98, late 98. Outkast got caught out there in this big giant gang, like the Rico. When Rico became active, the Rico stuff started going out there. They got
Car
caught up.
thefts and all of that. Car
Yeah,
thefts. I seen the
yeah.
whole shit.
So they got caught up doing the big bust in the piers, guns and drugs, and they got caught up with the Kings, and so
Hmm.
that's what labeled Zulu as a gang in Jersey.
Yeah, I
So
remember that.
yeah, so when you could basically say, and I think this is right before I got to meet you. This is right before I got to meet you. If I'm not mistaken, one of the first things I remember you saying, you had a grief, you had an anger towards Wadi over something that had to do with that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Over allowing that type of shit to go down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, I was walking into that. You know what I'm saying? I was now becoming, you know, I met Wadi along the way, you know, because Outkast at the time was the greater cats that I was rocking with.
Mm-hmm.
And Wadi, who originally was their chapter leader, I don't know what he was going through with New York and what he was doing, but there was a big rift between him and the chapter heads over here. And there was like a big split. And so it seemed like in a sudden pivot of things, he saw opportunity when I started to come into the mix of things because I didn't come by myself. I came with a whole crew of cats who were the lost tribes. You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
he saw an opportunity to adopt a whole crew of cats and to establish the Lost Tribes as a Zulu chapter and to continue on his mission that he had going on originally with Outkast to continue it on with Lost Tribes, which really didn't pan out the way he thought it was. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's more or less by mid '99. That's when I actually kind of trickled into Zulu fully, became a member. That's around the time you and I met. That
Mm-hmm.
was when YD brought me out to a Universal and it was me and like two alien members and like a whole squad of other Zulus was like ready to bang out or some shit, you know what I'm
Was
saying?
you
Mad
was you
about, you
was
know,
you was you the muscle or the head of security or the
I
hitman
mean,
of the chapter? Because
that's all he had me as because ain't nobody else was trying to play the muscle. So me playing that role, trying to be like, listen, man, I gotta play my part, but at the same time, I'm not a fool, and I'm just like, I'm just trying to get to know cats. You know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah,
coming to New York. I'm like, oh shit, Bambada, but then all this other shit going on, and I'm like,
yeah,
damn, that's what this is what this is about. And you know, long story short, you know, that's the beginning era where Lost Tribes started to come in. And I don't
right.
know what it was. It could have been the challenge. I'll be honest with you, L. It could have been just the challenge, the meeting everybody in New York the way I did. That made me want to step up to the plate in such a way
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like, well, we have a lot to prove in Jersey, in Newark, and we have a lot of work to do. You know what I'm saying? Especially since cats just got busted, that chapter
Mm-hmm.
going through shit,
Mm-hmm.
cats turning kings, all this stuff going on. You know, Kings, you know, Zulu starts having a bad rap. Wadi got into some big old beef with the Dominicans and 666, and you
The
know, this
demons, the
the old
demons.
demons. You know what I'm saying? Remember them? I don't even know if they
Mm-hmm.
exist anymore, but you know what I'm saying? They, you know, the demons from back in the day. You know, the big old beef that happened. That's when Raheem came out with H2O, ready to light people up in front of North 13. That's you know
Rest
what
in
I'm saying?
peace to Shaka Zulu King
Yeah,
Raheem.
peace, peace, rest in peace to Raheem, man. Bless
That
him,
brother
man.
was solid, man.
Yeah,
Solid,
he
solid
definitely
brother.
was, man.
I
Definitely
looked
let
up
you
to
know what
him
it
as a
was,
youth.
man. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was a great brother from the very first
a
moment.
true Shaka Zulu for real.
He truly was, man. You know, I was one brother that from the very first moment I met him, he never changed the way he was, even to his very elderly moment. He was same exact dude. He could barely walk. He'll still be on some shit. He'll fuck you up type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
God bless him, man. He still be wrestling in harmony up there, man. But you know, it's the challenges in the very beginning. I felt like what pulled me in deeper, and
mm-hmm.
that might sound crazy, but I just think from whatever I was going through in my life at the time, I was already facing so many challenges, and I felt like this is the only way I can succeed in something is by facing a challenge rather than running away and abandoning something. And I had a deep belief, I think I got this more so from following Panthers and the Young Lords and all the you know the AIM stuff, which was I felt like there's a deep belief in where society itself is facing challenges around the world, and I felt like the black and brown society was divided in so many ways that we were being attacked from so many different ways that we were attacking ourselves. And so I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I was one of those people who were put in place to kind of be the one to realign things, I guess you could say. And
Mm-hmm.
so to me, I felt like I was here to realign the movement. That was my mentality. It was always my mentality throughout my years at Zulu, because I believe so much in the essence of what Zulu stood for and we what we were put out there for, regardless of the gangster mentality, regardless of
Mm-hmm.
the BS. There was just these deep beliefs, these deep teachings that kind of
Mm-hmm.
was like a moral compass. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Was something that helped excel my mind to something greater. It made me think about, I'm not being stagnant, I'm not being ignorant, I'm being greater than those around me. And that was my whole flow with things. And so,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what was going on with YD in New York, I planted the seed in my own mind saying, well, I'm not going to let this guy just take lost tribes and do whatever the fuck he wants with it. He's already starting to show this shit as a shit show by going to New York and not even standing up for it the right way. You know what I'm saying? So I thought at the time it would have been wise to be a counsel, an advisor with him, but he was a difficult brother to work with. I love him. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
haven't spoken to him in maybe I haven't spoken to him since the whole BS happened in 2015, 2016. You know what I'm saying? But I'll just say I truly believe that he had a good purpose, but he had good intentions. He just
Mm-hmm.
didn't really have a good approach and a good execution towards things. And he was a little arrogant. So that was what kind of burned his bridges so many times.
Yeah.
But not, again, not to whisper devil BS. I'm just being honest. Everybody knew that about YB. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right. 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 Right.
but that's that
Uh-huh.
that's more or less where lost tribes come into Zulu and how I was pulled into Zulu. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the history kind of began with me in Zulu.
No
Um,
doubt.
and then it was like history from that point on. You know what I'm
No
saying?
doubt. No doubt. Y'all brothers have any questions for the brother?
Do. How did you feel? Did you feel embraced when you came to New York to your first Universal? Did you? I know. What was going on actually because you said there was some things going on when you came to the Universal. What was going on?
Mm.
Well, yeah, to keep it real with you, man, I didn't get to dive deep into anything that was happening in regards to the actual Universal
Right.
because there was a lot of shakeup with YD. And I didn't
Okay.
even know because YD didn't brief me. He didn't really give me context. He just told me, oh, there's this brother L1 and there's this cat and then there's these chapters and you gotta watch out. And I was just like, what are we walking into type shit? You know what I'm saying? And it
Yo,
was just
what year
me.
was this? What year
This
was this?
this is like what you say now, like what, like 97, 98 around there, right?
No,
90,
it's
98,
it's it's
right?
99. It's like
Yeah,
99.
like, all right,
99.
98, 98,
Okay.
99.
99.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I just said it before. 98, 99.
99.
That's more or less when I
Mm.
was coming in. Yeah. And so
Okay.
and so there was just a lot of friction at before I got in, for what reason, whatever the brother Wad was going through, whatever he was doing with New York and New Jersey, I don't
Mm.
know. I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe he just felt like he was the big santo of the Zulus because he was always with Bam. I don't know.
Mhm.
But the shit caused a lot of friction, especially with a lot of chapters. And me myself as a new person coming into the mix, I completely was blindsided. And so when I got down to the Universal, I'll be real with you, D Filthy embraced me, right? That
Mm.
was one king right there that embraced me. My love to him. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? You know, wow, you know what? Red was probably one of the first brothers I remember too. Big ups to King, you know what I'm saying? He gave me love, but he was a serious dude still at the time. You know what I'm
Real
Yeah.
saying? 'Cause
serious.
Hmm.
He wasn't no plain, but he was
Shaka
still on
Zulu.
some. He was still on some. You know what I'm saying? G stuff.
Right,
But you know what
right,
I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Other than that, it was Bam and some alien cats that I met. After that, I ain't never seen alien cats for like a decade. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, that first time at a Universal, that was the welcoming that I got, and
Right,
so it's not what turned it didn't turn me away though. Get what I'm saying?
right, right,
But
right.
but that was my that was my exposure to the nation in New
That's
York,
quite an
going to the
introduction.
headquarters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
my first introduction.
if y'all allow me, I'll make it brief and clarify like what type of static was going on without making it sound too crazy. So there's a brother named Bang that still around in my chapter 25. He I don't think he was ever a part of Lord's tribe. I think he might have been a part of Outcast or Genesis. Remember Genesis,
Oh,
that
big up to
chapter?
Genesis, man. Big up to
Yeah.
Genesis. Oh
Oh
man.
man, I remember the brother Lil Ant. I think I named but anyway, there was a lot of there was a lot of different chapters in New Jersey, and I was in the mix with just building. You know how it is when you Zulu, you want to know everybody in the different chapters. You want to get around. So I eventually met this brother Bang, and he told me that YD was giving him grief. Now I never met YD because like for the first few years I was Zulu, I was never going to universal meetings, you know what I'm saying? So the brother from Newark, Bang, is like, yo, this brother YD's on me. He trying to strip me, whatever. And I'm like, yo, like, why he want to strip you or whatever. And he like, yo, because I'm not with the bullshit, this, that, and the third. Make a long story short, I brought the brother into Elite, you know what I'm saying, Elite Gestapo or whatever. And, YD didn't like it. So YD's like, yo, who are you to, New Jersey is mine or whatever. So now me and him having words because I'm like, nah, like the G attitude, like you can't tell us nothing. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I'm like, yo, when I see you, man, you already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he didn't know me and he didn't care. So he's like, yo, whatever. When I see you, whatever you want to do. So like I'm amped up already. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he gonna be there. It's gonna go down. I'm telling all the brothers, like, yo, when I see son, we going outside. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't care. Or at the meeting, So I go, I heard he's upstairs. I go up to the spot and I'm like, yo, YD, come outside. And I'm disrupting the meeting because Bam Bada talking, so everybody listening to him. And then Bam looking over because I'm getting loud. I'm like, yo, come outside, come outside. Come meet me on the corner of 125. And he like, I ain't going nowhere, right? He don't want to come down. So um like I go downstairs, I tell Silver Dollar, I'm like, yo, Dollar, he don't want to come down. He like, tell him I said to come down now. Right? So, Dollar, he a real savage, right? Like he ain't taking no for an answer. He want this brother to
Dollar's
come
crazy.
down to he wants to see the violence, you know what I'm saying? So I come back up, I'll disrupt the meeting again, and Bam give me a crazy look. He's like, brother, what's going on? What's going on with y'all? I'm like, yo, I said, YD need to come downstairs and come talk to me. And he said he ain't going nowhere, right? And I said, well, Dollar want to see him downstairs. And he was like, oh, Dollar want to see him downstairs? He said, okay, brother, go down there and talk to Dollar right now. You know what I'm saying? So he sent YD out of there, right? YD come downstairs, you know what I'm saying, on order a Dollar. And, me and him exchanged words and, I invited him to fight. Whatever, I'm not gonna say whatever happened. We didn't fight, you know what I'm saying? We didn't wind up fighting. Ghost stood up though. Enoch stood up in defense, and I guess they were gonna jump me probably, or something like that. 'Cause, that's the type of time we were on back then. He
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
like, yo, he probably when they was coming down the stairs, he's probably like, don't worry, as soon as he set it off on you, I'm on his ass. You know what I'm saying? He probably saying they're gonna jump me and bring me back to New Jersey and you know what I
In the
mean?
trunk.
Kill me in the trunk,
Put you
right?
in the
Yeah, we're gonna
trunk.
bring him back to New
Yeah,
Jersey in the trunk.
yeah, yeah.
Don't worry, they ain't never messing with us again. They were gonna,
Yeah.
put an end to me at my right there. But when I saw Ghost, when I saw Enoch, the brother we have here, stood up like that, I said, man, this brother's solid. You know what I mean? I already saw he had the heart of a true Shaka Zulu, and from that point on. I always had the utmost respect for the brother, you know what I'm saying? Me and YD had buried the hatchet, and you know what I'm saying? There was no, Zulu, the vibe, there's always like sometimes there's like conflicts or like egos and whatnot, or we might like clash, but at the end of the day, we're never encouraged to, settle our differences with fight by fighting each other. That's one of the laws. We're
I was
not
just
allowed to
about to
settle
say
it.
that, King. Like, why is it that, like, upon meeting each other from different chapters when we were younger, it's
Hmm.
always like this male bravado that we got to
Yeah.
go through to
Hmm.
end up being cool anyway, and
Right.
the
Yeah,
coolness develops into like us loving each other and loving the
It's
Right.
brotherhood.
it's
Like, it's
Right.
always got to
unfamiliarity.
be like some showdown,
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
see
I
who's
think
tough and
Yeah.
see nobody's
it's like
backing down. Like, oh, all
unfamiliarity.
right, he cool. All
Right.
right, I bang with sons from chapter so and
Yeah.
so and so. You
it's
know,
almost like
Right.
like
it's almost like the kings in nature. You know what I'm saying? Lions in
right.
nature. You feel me?
It's like a
Right.
rites of passage. It's like
Yeah,
a
Yeah.
War
yeah,
rites
by
of
yeah.
Yeah.
passage kind of thing.
Well, I
Right.
think, I
We.
think, I think, in a sense, like just thinking about it in that sense, to me, I always looked at it like it was a machismo culture that came from
Hmm.
an elder generation down. We had a lot of we had big shoes to fill. We was a
Hmm.
different generation of Zulu, right?
Hmm.
And when I looked at L, to me, from the first moment I met L, I always looked at him like this dude Zulu King already from the rip. This dude's holding it down. This dude, like, to me, I was like this dude running a chapter. You know what I'm saying? When I got the chance to speak to him the very first time, and I was laughing when you mentioned that too, because when I got to first speak to you, I remember because Wadi left me kind of alone with that one alien cat, and that alien cat walked off, and I was just standing next to the payphone outside. And that's when you came up to me to talk to me, saying you had some words about Wadi, and you know what I'm saying? And you said your piece about it, but we still was cool at the end of the day. But all I could remember was all them cats that you had with you. And I was just saying to myself, I was like, this motherfucker done left me out here, all these cats out here. I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, we all Zulu, right? At
Right.
the end of the
Right.
day, I was like, but we all Zulu,
Yeah.
right? But to me, I also, I always, I don't think I'll ever forget it,
Right.
because that introduction was important for me. Um, because in a weird way, it was a presence that I think we as Zulus had to have. Not it wasn't really towards one another.
Hmm.
But it was a presence that we just had to have in our communities. A strong presence, a tough presence. And
Right.
and at times that energy, yeah, sometimes it can lose itself. You know what I'm saying? And we
Hmm.
could aim it at each other in ways that we don't see. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's why I say it could have been like a machismo culture. Feel me?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. But all praises due. Nothing ever got physical with us, and
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I'm saying, like,
definitely.
mind you, you got to think there's also a level of immaturity with all of us. We may have felt that we were all grown men, but we're talking about we 18, 19 years old at the time.
Hmm.
We're really kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, whether we was in the streets gang banging or fighting or acting tough, we was going home to watch Monday Night Raw, WCW Nitro. You know what I'm saying? We playing Super Nintendo, and you know what I'm saying? We still kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's ultimately what it was. And at the end of the
Well,
day, we were all there to build and learn and be connected. So to be at odds with one another, that's whack. I never liked when Zulus be on that, and it's really not too many Zulus that's on that type of time. But I don't like when a brother feel like he's better than the next brother. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah,
that's corny to me. Like, when you starting to give brothers cold shoulders. Like,
yeah,
be warm,
yeah,
embrace your brothers. We here to build and
yeah,
establish a network and a brotherhood, sisterhood with each other,
yeah, yeah,
not to see who's the toughest or who's the strongest. Like,
yeah.
that's the gang mentality, and the gang mentality is not something that we spoke on or echoed. We spoke positivity, we spoke righteousness at the universal meetings.
You
You know
know,
what I
you know,
mean?
and that's something that I feel like many years later, I felt like some of the elders really tried to instill in the nation, right? there was something I don't think you had a chance to that you had a chance to benefit from when we went down south to Georgia. There was a collective of us. What was it? Oh my God, the elder brother. Oh my God, I'm sorry, his name slipping my
You
mind.
went
Oh
to
my
you
God,
went to Eatonton? That's what you referencing? You
not,
went to Eatonton,
what
Georgia,
was it?
or
What was it? Eatonton,
you
where
talking
they
about
had.
you went to Malachi York's
Nah, nah,
compound?
nah, nah, not over there, not
Oh,
over there. That I
okay.
remember when cats went out there, but I didn't
Right,
go
right.
there.
Okay.
This was actually a completely. It was actually something that we all was kind of like building on before we all decided to go to that, and it was a space up in the Appalachian Mountains. Um, it was like this place called the Azure Lounge. It was like a art collective, like all the way up in the mountains, hidden in the woods type shit. And it was like maybe 12 of us that got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, big ups to the Panther Shep. You know what I'm saying? Shep is the one who led this over. He wanted to take us out there because he thought that we needed to do more collective building with one another and do more
Yeah.
trainings and teaching each other experiences and kind of like just do that collaborative building. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like design a strategy plan to bring back home. And we all put our monies in. The chapter fees also paid a portion of that. We rented a van, and then boom, we done took the trip all the way down there, and we spent about, I think it was about a good 4 days out there in this spot, and and then we came back home. But all of us that went, we all were enriched and empowered, and we came back with this open mind and open focus about what we wanted to do when we were coming back. And this is, of course, a couple of years before everything had fell apart out here. But when we came back, it was a whole new focus for all the chapters that were involved. I know chapter 9. I know. Oh my God, some names slip, and I'm sorry, man. You know, for the brothers and
Spend
sisters
some
that
time.
listen to
Spend
this
some time.
recording, you know what I'm saying? Much love to y'all. I don't mean to forget names. I'm sorry, it's been a minute. But for those of y'all that did get a chance to go to this, you know what I'm saying? I know, you know, everybody who had a part of this, when we got back to our respective states and cities, I know that each one of those chapters got down into building collective, like collaborating type of things within their areas. This is when Lost Tribes got really big into building, you know, urban agriculture, and we started to kind of get into more collective building with nonprofit organizations and started to do some big moves. And so we saw that happening with different chapters in different areas of the country. You know what I'm saying? That's when I started seeing Zulu heading in a really deep, dope ass direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I say that to say that I feel like things like that were needed in the nation. There was not enough healing happening in the
Mm-hmm.
nation. And there was so much healing that we needed to have, so much real conversations that we needed to have with one another, especially that elder circle. That elder circle had tons of healing that they had to do, whatever trauma they went through before we came into the mix. You know what I'm saying? That trickled down on us because we carried the weight of a lot of the old school bullshit. That's how I always looked at it. We carried a lot of
Right.
that bullshit that they had. And we
Mm-hmm.
carried it with pride, but we carried that shit like book bags, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, fuck that, we're gonna do our thing, you know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
not realizing that, yo, that was some heavy ass stones that it didn't hold us back. It made us stronger, it made us better, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, healing refines us. Healing allows us to do greater work and do better. And if we would have been doing a lot more healing work, who knows where the nation would have been? You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at Zulu Union. Look at, you know, everything that went on when the transition happened. Everything that went on, the deep, the heavy conversations, the little back and forth and bickering, because some cats didn't want to talk about some raw, sensitive shit. Other cats didn't want to hear people's emotions, but shit had to be talked about. Shit had to kind of come out, and all of that had to be done. We had to start leaning on each other and
Mm-hmm.
seeing UL and King Rice do all that, supporting other chapters and uplifting people and giving people that camaraderie, that was what was needed to help empower and enrich the nation. And so seeing what Zulu Union did, I always said even within the tribe, when we were really trying to get on board with Zulu Union, I saw the vision. I saw the vision, but I wasn't staring within my tribe and paid attention to the traumas that my tribe was having. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I was
Hmm.
looking at the union like, oh, look, I want to be a part of what's happening because we need to be a part of this conversation. We got a lot of
Right.
shit that we got to talk about, but a lot of the cats were going through their shit. They
Yeah.
and I know Al, you've had words with a couple of the bros over here, bullshit, you know what I'm saying, for what
It's
reason.
small. It's
It's small.
small. You know. It's
It
about.
ain't nothing. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying. What
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is that
Peace to the brother Infinite, man. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
My humble
Bless
apology.
to the king.
You
Yeah,
know what I
bless
mean?
to the king.
Me and the brother got into a small argument for nothing, you know what I mean? Over him expressing, you know, something and I took it, the wrong way. You know what I mean? Water under the bridge though.
No,
It's
no, but
me personally, like when someone says something about Zulu, I don't make the distinguish. It doesn't, I just say, yo, you saying something about Zulu? Like I'm Zulu regardless. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he meant it towards the Zulu nation, but I took it as,
yeah,
yo, you talking about Zulu.
yeah.
And for
But
me, I'm ready to throw the gloves on and defend it
you know,
always.
but you know what the thing was too is his thing was greater than that though, because it wasn't a personal attack to you. It ain't become that till a little bit later because of that stupid riff, right?
Right.
It the more the issue was with some of what other cats felt too, which was why carry the name? Why continue
Mm.
to carry the name? To me, I was like, yo, listen, man, these what happened, what happened with Bam and that, you know what I'm saying? That's Bam and that. You know what I'm saying? That's not Zulu. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I could understand why they feel what they feel, and I understand. I get it. Like, yeah, this is a brainchild that this dude created too, and I get it.
Indeed.
He used this collective kind of like the York did with the Nawapu. I get it. But so many great people are here. And they decided to say, nah, you know what? We're gonna stand up and hold this flag and we're gonna show you what this is about. F this dude, F that. We gonna
Hmm.
erase that. We gonna cut that out. We ain't gonna erase history because we gotta let people know the truth. But at the same time, we're not gonna honor that. We're not gonna honor him. We're gonna keep moving forward and show you guys that Zulu stands greater, Zulu's this, that, and the third. We about the people, we about, the future. And
Right.
a lot of others though, when they look at a stain, they get stuck on the stain. And
Right.
Mhm.
I can get that for certain things. I get it.
No,
I'm the same
it's
way on certain things,
understandable. It's
you know.
understandable.
And,
You
and,
know what I'm
and
saying?
I get that. I get that. You know what I'm saying? And for
Yeah.
me, at the time though, I was like, I'll be honest with you guys. 2012, this is before everything was going on. I I could tell you now, over 10 years later, that I didn't identify the signs of heavy anxiety and me dealing with a lot of past traumas and deep struggle within me internally, personally. I internalized it and I continue to put in my work and I continue to do the good work in the community. And so I swallowed that and I kept doing. I kept giving and giving and giving, not receiving as much as I should have, but I kept going. And so what that did, it actually was crippling me more and it was hurting me.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so by 2014, 2015, when these things started to come to light, the tribe was already going through a struggle. It was already like on some stilts shaking, going through some internal issues, leadership struggles between me and Vice. We already had a turnover. One Vice stepped away, joined another thing with Strange. That's when Cuban came in, started to be a Vice with me. You know what I'm saying? Um, we started to make moves, and then all of a sudden, me and Cuban start having some BS going on. You know what I'm saying? That I'm going through my own BS. I'm falling within myself. Now my health is becoming an issue. I'm putting all my effort and energy into doing physical work, into doing community work, feed the people, coat drives, back to school things, doing urban agriculture, no money coming in, not taking care of my health, not going to the doctor, not taking care of the mental health, just doing all this other stuff. And so inside I'm falling apart, but I'm not realizing it. I'm not trying to realize it because outside I'm like, yo, I'm busy. I got shit to do. I got stuff to go on. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
when everything kind of hit the fan in 2016, the tribe was already at its I would say it was already pretty fractured. You know what I'm saying? And so that rift, all of us deciding to leave Zulu together, and then not even 2 months later, half of those members joining Zulu Nation. You know what I'm saying? It was just like,
Mm-hmm.
what you doing? Like, yo, we Zulus, come on, let's just go there. Come on, we're gonna make Zulu Nation what it's supposed to be. Like, what the hell's your problem? We just had a meeting, like grown folks, and talking about this shit. We done cried around the table, angry as fuck. And you gonna me and tell me you're gonna just walk back to these motherfuckers? Like that shit made no sense.
Right.
And so that that emotional, mental, all that stuff started to happen within us. And so the emergence of Zulu Union was going on as Lost Tribes was at its worst. And for me, I needed healing. I didn't see it like that, but at the same time, I knew I needed something to keep my drive going. And I saw that in Zulu Union. That's why I wanted to be a part of what I saw. And I was like, oh, life. Because how do I strip away something that I've been a part of for over 17 years of my life?
Mm-hmm.
How do I strip that away? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do I go back into the world and be a normal person? You feel? Is there a reentry program for that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you gotta think about that.
Yeah.
I follow a belief system. You know what I'm saying? 11 points of light, 15 beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Reading these papers, trying to instill these things in my mind and my consciousness. Up, always feeling proud, and now feeling like kind of like, damn, man. You know what I'm saying? Like people are hearing about Zulu, all that bullshit going on. Now I gotta be feeling like I gotta keep myself concealed.
Yeah.
At the same
Mm.
time, we're no longer dealing with the politics in the city. They sold our lot, our garden. They knocked down our sweat lodge. They did all this bullshit to us in the city. They started coming at us. At the same time, we at the weakest of us, and we're internally beefing.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And I'm just at my point. I'm just like, man, fuck all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? And so at the same time, I'm still like, yo, I love my brothers and sisters. I still feel like we should do something with Zulu Union. I still feel like Lost Tribe still has a chance to revive because we've revived in difficult times many times before.
Yes,
I
sir.
felt I felt there was an opportunity. And this is why I started to work with you guys beforehand. And then that whole BS, me and Inf clashing, you and Inf clashing, and it just got to a point where I was just like, man, you know what, man? I'm just like, yo, this just for the birds, man. I need to deal with me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And mind you, aside from all of that, aside from all Zulu Lost Tribe related, work wise, I'm in deeply rooted still in my community, fighting to preserve a public housing site that's gonna be shut down by the housing authority, fighting against the mayor, fighting against the state, going to DC, doing marches, I'm a part of all of that. Seeing what's going on with these families, that's a losing battle, but I'm still fighting for them. So you get, I'm depleted in so many different ways. You get what I'm saying? So it's like there was just so much happening that it just made me feel like I had to put everything down, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I say all of that to say, like, I believe still in what the Zulu Union represents and what the light is. What's that for? And I always applaud and admire you guys for being the consistent ones and keep pushing it forward. You know what I'm saying? Folks like myself, and I can't speak for everybody else, especially those across the country or in other parts of the world, you know what I'm saying, who may have faced their own battles or maybe saw their own chapters fall apart. But You know what I'm saying? If in any way they found some type of difficulties in trying to find grounding, you had to get away from everything. And that's what I had to do. Literally, when that housing complex shut down, I shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And the past 2.5 years, bro, I kind of like went into like what's that shit? I went into monk mode, hiding under the
Mm-hmm.
shell. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
was like, yo, don't bother me. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Had to refine myself. You know what I'm
I
saying? So
wanted
that's
to
why.
I
Go ahead.
wanted to ask. No, God, I don't mean to cut your
No, no,
closing
no, go ahead.
statement off.
I was already done
Um,
with it. I talk a lot, so you need to cut me off.
No, 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 no. It's it's necessary to I want to hear it, I want the listeners to get a good understanding of you and where you're coming from with that. And I had saw like a video of you not too long ago, and I think you was you and maybe another brother from your community or something like y'all were like walking children or monitoring children coming out of school to
Yes,
make sure
yes,
that they were safe and they were I guess doing the right thing or so, kind of like like a monitor. You just monitoring their
yeah,
actions and their
yeah.
behaviors. Can you speak about that? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never saw nothing like that before where
Oh
you
man,
know what I mean? And I thought that was super dope. And I'm like, yo, if somebody was doing this in every urban community, Philly, Newark, Washington, D.C., the Bronx, Brooklyn's, like, a couple strong brothers just monitoring the youth, we could prevent a lot of stuff from happening. Not even just gang violence,
Absolutely.
just pedophiles, predators, keeping everybody at bay. Like, yo,
Drugs.
these drugs,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Trying to introduce children into drugs.
you,
I
you
thought that was
deter
incredible.
you deter a lot of people um by doing things like that. Actually, let me big up the brother Mutar Alameen. That's the brother that I was out there with.
Mm,
Mutar's been a strong um community leader, organizer in the city of Newark. Um, he's a children's book author. He's a father himself. Um, also is he's a member of the Newark Water Coalition. And he's got a nonprofit himself called Munsters Inc. New Jersey, Munsters New Jersey's Inc. And he does a youth program out of a public housing site that he was born. He was born and raised in the community up near EO in Newark. And he 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 West Side High School. That's the area he's known for most of his life. West Side High School has been riddled with so many different complications from not just youth violence, but gun violence. There's been a lot of drug activity out there. There's been, sadly, there's been some, there's a community, just like in many of our cities, that are living in poverty. So you had a lot of youth coming to schools that were, they didn't have money, they didn't have, enough money to get their clothes washed, what I'm saying, stuff like that. They didn't have enough food. And so the school provides enough as what they can. I mean, this is one of the school, the principal was he actually was on the news, and I think he was up on Oprah for bringing up like a laundry program in the school to help youth who are dealing with those type of issues, so they could come and wash their clothes in the school and stuff like that. And he also started like a community fridge, so not just youth but also community members in the neighborhood could come and get some free food from a refrigerator that they have out there. And so
Wow.
the school still was having a lot of issues because of how congested the neighborhood is and how congested the schools are. And so the concept was safe streets. The city of Newark, especially the mayor, likes to boast about how crime has reduced, which is not something that we see directly in our communities. We know that crime is still an issue. Just recently, rest in peace to the young man that got killed. It was a 9-year-old child that got shot. Some shooting that he was trying to shoot his father. He shot the father. The father lived, but the child passed away. You know what I'm saying? This is just something that happened this past week. They just arrested the dude just the other day. But that's an example of just how bad the violence is in our city. And so the idea was to stand outside every day after school, around the time when school's starting to come out, and just be present. The idea is just to be present. You know, dap up the kids. Hey, what's going on, man? How was school today, man? Yo, bless you. What's going on? You know, just show them love. Throw some cool advice, joke with them, bug out with them, ask them about their day. Give them something encouraging to think about. Give them something good to look forward to. So the building that we were doing it in front of is a grassroots organization. It's nonprofit. It's called the Newark Water Coalition, which was instrumental with exposing the city of Newark of the dirty water situation a few years ago. And so the Newark Water Coalition has been an amazing nonprofit organization that has brought a lot of mutual aid to communities like that one around there. It's brought a lot of, food. They feed like hundreds, thousands of families a month. Free food. They got like 3 different kind of food distributions every week going on. They provide everything that you go. You go inside their place, everything's free. They got got a lot of secondhand clothing, but for families that are in need, they can come in, they can get some clothing. Come in, kids need water, they get thirsty, or they need something to drink. They can come in and get something. They need snacks, they be having snacks in there. They can come get something instead of going and run, buy some crap from the store or something like that. They come in and get something that's nutritious, something that's free, rather than go spend money in another spot. Even though we promote that you support local, but also the idea is like you're living in poverty. No need for you going to these bodegas that are they're benefiting off the crazy inflations anyway. So you know what I'm saying. So the idea was to provide a safe avenue for youth. Okay, so we don't necessarily walk with them because since we're not certified, we're not trained in that way. We're not, we don't have any kind of like, I guess, licenses or something like that to be doing. We don't want to get caught up in any legal issues. And so
Right.
we stay stationary within the block that the organization is at. And so that when kids come out, we can see them from when they coming out, when they pass the agency, and we see them when they going down. And since everybody in the neighborhood are cool with the agency, they see what we was doing, and so they follow suit. You know what I'm saying? And so that the idea was to kind of build a culture, to build that kind of atmosphere. Of course, I was invited to do it. I've only done it several times here and there. It's not something I consistently do it because it's not my realm of the work. You know what I'm saying? The good brother deals with youth and stuff like that. And so as a show of solidarity, you know what I'm saying? He needed somebody to be out there with him. So I was like, yo, I'm coming out, my brother. I'm gonna be out there with you. He wanted to video it. We videoed it a couple of times. He did a little message, boop, bop, boop. And I believe I haven't been out there for about a month or so because I've been doing several other projects. But I believe he's consistent with that still. He has an after school program as well where he's at, which is just a few blocks up from that high school. And so his concept is to help build that up. Now, the city of Newark, they don't necessarily have a program like that, but there's a group that kind of messes with the city of Newark that claims they do the safe passage program. Where I guess they just choose schools or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think it should happen in every neighborhood. You got your crossing guards, which are cool. Crossing guards are cool. But like you said, my brother, there should be a network of good people, responsible, caring folks, especially like parents, that can watch these youth and make sure everything's good and safe, make sure they're good, they need anything, they say, whatever. I personally believe, especially more so now, that we complain a lot about defunding police, and we also complain about that the police needs to be present, but then we also want the police to be reviewed, but we don't want them to be reviewed by IA. You know what I'm saying? It's always a conflicting mix. And so I think the best solution is that we police our own communities. And so that
That's
and
right.
this is that should be a start from the rip. Policing by securing your youth, making sure your youth is good. Because if you start doing that, you build a tradition, a culture kind of thing. You do it with the youth, maybe it catches on in the youth. You know, kid graduates high school, maybe they're going to want to follow suit. Alumni might want to come do it, make sure students is doing good. What you would want to do is create a culture that you don't have to continue on, but they could continue on. You know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
And we want to create that within our communities because we're supposed to be policing our communities anyway.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like, we're constantly having conflict with these entities, but we're not doing it for our own people. We got to, and with our kids, the kids are our future, man. So I'm grateful for you bring that up, man, because that is something that I feel like is important to have, and something that we need to continue doing. If you guys and anyone that listens to this finds some type of empowerment with that message, yo, just do it, man. You don't need a
Mm-hmm.
permit. You don't need a green light. You don't need
Right.
somebody to tell you you could do it. Just get a group of people that you know you can trust, people who are aware, who are alert, and matter of fact, who are resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want, tie it into an organization because maybe you want to use that organization to perhaps provide some kind of resources because you never know if the kids need something. You never know if
Mm-hmm.
maybe that student maybe has some housing instabilities and their parents could probably use some help. Or maybe that student's having some struggle academically, and maybe this agency can provide some type of guidance, tutoring, or something like that. After school programming, we don't know. Whatever it is, if you tie yourself to an entity that actually makes it look better, you get what I'm saying? It gives you
Definitely.
more. It gives you more strength, and it's more communal. And it brings the power back to community. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. Razor, you got any questions for the brother Zulu King Enoch?
Yeah, peace, King.
Peace, King.
Being that it's my first time actually getting to know your story, I want to know the genesis of the name Ghost.
Woo!
As if you don't mind sharing that story.
Nah. I'll make it short and sweet. Um, Ghost was a consciousness, brother.
Mhm.
I feel like as we grow up, man, we take on these nicknames and we live these personifications of it. It's Ghost was a consciousness for me. It was from the age of maybe like 13 to about 24, 25 years old. I was under the name Ghost. And
Okay,
as a ghost, I really acted like a ghost, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you and I could have been walking together side by side. Next thing you know, you turn to look at me and I'm just gone. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's not that I dipped on you, man. It's just that maybe, I'm trying to see something. So I dipped off to the side. I'm watching you still, but I just went off to look at some stuff. You know what I'm saying? I
right.
used to like to travel at nighttime too. So hiding in the shadows was a thing on some ninja shit. You know what I'm saying? So I used to love to be on that dip and dab stuff. And at the time, it was me, my boy Mickey, and my boy Carlos, the three of us who actually had adopted these names. And it's funny because I wasn't the only ghost. Um, my boy Mickey was Ghost because he was a white boy. He called himself Ghost because he was like that as a white boy.
Right.
And then the other cat was named Shadow. And Shadow, yeah, he played that role really well. Both of them actually looked like twins, bro. They looked like they were some Bone Thug and Harmony cats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And so I took on the name Ghost because I used to just be on that dip and dab stuff. You know what I'm saying? I used to just always like to watch people from the distance and just kind of sneak up on cats. And, that was my flow, be kind of dipping out into the crowds. You know what I'm
right. All right, cool. I
saying?
have another
Um,
question. I'm sorry, Al.
oh, okay.
Shout
Now
out,
go
sir.
ahead, King.
There's another thing I think we kind of waylaid on fakes in a way because at one point I lived in Jersey and I was living over by Freeland Housing area of Newark. So did you have members of in the chapters that was over there by any chance or
Ooh, bro, man. So let me just say, Razor, we had members and lost tribes throughout Jersey, throughout Newark, in different areas over the years.
hmm
There was a lot of cats that came and gone. And some again, my mind is, I just put the blunt down a few days ago, man. So I'm detoxing. I'm trying to get my mind right again.
That's what's up.
I've been smoking since I was 9 years old, man. I'm 43. So it's like I'm putting it down for a while so that I could just start getting my
Refocus.
yeah, refocus. So
No
I
doubt.
I ain't gonna lie to you and be like, yeah. I know I have members in Elizabeth.
Hmm.
I know I have members on the south side of Newark, down by Penn Ave and stuff like that back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Elizabeth Ave, probably so. My pops lived out in that area. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh, okay.
you know, it could have been. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Give me a second. Y'all could talk. I'm just gonna run get the charger right quick. 'Cause the phone just
No
started.
doubt. No doubt. When I used to go out to Newark, I used to chill with the G's out there. Shout out to the bro Nelson, the Aki Nelson, and his two brothers. It was like three Zulu brothers, Puerto Rican dudes. And I know Enoch probably remembers Nelson
Oh
and his
yeah.
brothers. They used to be on South 17th and Avon,
Oh
and that
yeah.
shit was live over there.
Mm.
Like Newark
Yeah.
is not a joke.
That
Definitely
was
You know what I'm
right
not.
down the
saying?
street. That was right down the street from me, man. I was on 22nd. They was right there on 17th. Yep, I remember.
I miss them brothers, man. I don't know where they are. I
You
have
know
no idea. I
something?
lost connection. Huh?
You know something? I, Me and Nelson used to have an odd relationship. I remember when I first met him. I think I could honestly say I met him when, more or less in his innocent years, where his mind was more of a calm spirit. After he got down with G's and all that stuff, he definitely got on more of
Transformed, right?
a transformed into someone different. And me and him had weird ass friction over the years. Never nothing disrespectful or hateful. But I always had love for him. His brothers, man, I had so much respect for, man. It was some really, really great cats, man. They was really dedicated, man. Man,
Super.
they to me, I used to because they came in later on after me. So when I saw how they were, I was like, I used to admire them because I used to feel like, damn, man, these cats are coming in the way real Zulu should come in. Because I feel like over here in Jersey, especially, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Over here in Jersey, man, we slacked heavy after some years with the disciplinary stuff and going in hard on the lessons like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was nothing that YD instilled. You know what I'm saying? And so, we kind of just vibed a lot. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I was kind of brought up in a mentality like that in a way, but I didn't really do it on cats like that. You feel me? So when I saw Nelson and them being on that a lot, I was like, yo, man, I really admire these cats for that. And I never would argue with them on that stuff, man, because I always knew they was on point with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So big ups to them, man. I
Yeah,
hope one
man.
day they catch this joint, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real, man. I hope some odd way, somehow, the frequencies get to them brothers, man, and they could tune
Yo,
in and
la-
tap in
last
and
last I heard, I believe last I heard, not for none, I think Nelson became a fireman or something like that, man.
well, oh man, that's great to hear. I
Yeah,
like to hear. I'd rather hear that than, yeah. Last
yeah.
time
I
I
don't
heard
think.
he got locked up and did a 10-year bid, or he's
Oh
in the
wow.
feds. And I'm not to say that that was his energy, but the brother was
No.
definitely a street brother, a real warrior from what I got out of him. His
Yeah,
brothers were solid. And also peace to the brother Spades, peace to the brother Badger, peace to the brother Third Eye, Ryan. I'm like. I
man.
really
Third.
I would trade in a couple years of my life to reunite with these brothers. I love them
Yeah.
so much.
Hey, yo, man.
And it's crazy how you could just lose connections. You know what I
I was
mean?
talking to the brother Remy, man. Big ups to Remy, man. I still mac it with him. He was with one of the G's that was with you know what I'm saying, that was doing things in the Belleville chapter. You know what I'm saying? And and Remy was really, really tight with Third because he really came in on the Third back then. And he told me, he was like, yo, the last time he talked to Third was on some on the whim shit. He just ran into him like on a train station somewhere or something like that. He was like, he didn't even expect it. He was just like, what the hell? And it was like, yo, when Third disappeared, bro, he really disappeared, man. It was just, you know what I'm saying? Like, what
Yeah.
happened to everybody,
Yo,
man?
try to find out info. Like if you could, somehow find out where he at, man. I would love
Yo,
to
I would love
reconnect
to,
with these
bro.
brothers, man.
I
Somehow,
would
some
love to,
way.
man.
You my
Yo,
only hope, you know what I'm saying, in connecting with these brothers. You know what I mean?
you know what? I'll definitely poke around. I know there's a sister that's supposed to be coming back up here from down south who actually was living with them back then. You know what I'm saying? She was
Not Bebby.
actually no. I think her name Tiff. Tiff.
Hmm.
She was actually one of the queens that was down with them before she had moved up. After everything got crazy, she left because the kids and stuff like that. But I heard that she's supposed to be moving back up to Jersey, man. So once I connect with her again, man, I'll definitely make it my thing to try to see who knows. Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that would be dope, man.
That'll
I
be
wanted to
beautiful,
ask
man.
you, I wanted to ask you before we put this in closing, and like I said earlier, we definitely want to get you back here because there's a lot more that we want to cover. You know what I'm saying? But I want to ask you, who's your favorite hip hop artist from New Jersey? Don't necessarily have to be Newark. Um, your favorite, New Jersey.
Damn, man. Shit, man. I mean, I'm from out here in the bricks, man. So I mean, I mac it up. I mac it with Do It All a lot, man. He cool peoples, man. But of course, he's the councilman, so I still do community
Yes,
work. So I
sir.
got to mac it with him. But
Peace to
I
do it
gotta
all.
give I
Right.
gotta give it to Red Man, bro. Um, and I say that only because from a kid growing up, I saw his evolution, bro. I saw his evolution. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And not just that, bro. But you could run into a homie right out here like nothing, bro, and he's just a regular homie. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? He never changed his face. You know what I'm saying? And it's like
Hmm.
I respect that about an artist, bro. You know,
Word.
Hmm.
that's the same respect that I ain't gonna lie. Every time I saw Immortal, whenever I went out there to New York and I ran into Immortal, bro, yo, one of the most coolest brothers out there, bro.
Peace to
Realest
Immortal
dude.
Word.
Technique.
Yeah,
Peace.
peace to the king,
Mhm.
man. Yo, that bro,
Solid, solid
it,
brother. Yeah.
it does not matter
Good
wherever he
energy too.
sees me.
Good energy
Yes,
too.
yes.
You know what I'm
He'll
saying?
always remember me just by my face. Oh yeah, King, I remember you, brother. What's going on? We'll give each other love and we'll chop it up for just for the few minutes that we see each other. But it'll always be like we saw each other the next day type of thing, even though it would be stretched apart. And so to me, I look at that as Red too. You feel me? You'll see Red in downtown and it almost be like, oh shit, like you just done saw him yesterday. He's just one of the homies. So to me, I have to say that. If I was
Yeah.
to think about a group, it'd probably be the Artifacts. You know what I'm saying?
No
Mm.
doubt.
Mm.
I gotta
So,
give love to real hip hop right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
uh,
You know, and that's just keeping it G. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for
Yeah.
asking me that, bro. And there's so much to talk about, guys. I mean, I'm working on designing a podcast right now called the Brick City Voices. Um,
Mm.
it's something that I'm hoping to do some collaborative work with other podcast joints too. And I hopes that in the near future we could perhaps Spears and Mike's Brick City Voices can have a shindig together. You know what I'm saying?
Of
absolutely.
And
course,
bring
man. Of
out
course. Yeah.
and
Whatever we
and
could
we could
do.
talk about some interesting stuff. Who knows what we could come up with? But I applaud you guys for what you're doing. I think this right here is beautiful. I love it. I love to come back, even if it's just to chop it up. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just to play, if one of you guys can't make it in to do an interview with somebody, hit me up. I'll sit in and play
No
the role
doubt.
to do
Yeah.
an interview
Oh,
with
that's
somebody.
dope.
Because you know what?
Word.
And I'll be honest with you, man. Now that I had a chance to sit in and listen to one of the other shows before this one, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna be definitely checking out all the other ones, man. I'll be sharing them joints and putting them out there. You know what I'm saying? Because folks got to get it out there. And if you need, I also extend my part because I believe in solidarity. One hand wash the other, both hand wash the face. If you need any type of assistance in like promotion and like any type of strategic advertising and stuff like that, I do a lot of how can I say, like consultation. you know what I'm saying, with businesses and stuff like that. I don't mind
Mm,
offering my time and services, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no cost, ain't nothing. I'll do it out of the love. You know what I'm
no
saying?
doubt. Appreciate
Because
that.
you know, after looking at, you know, the channel and all that stuff, I was just like, yo, this thing got to be pumped out there big time, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I offer that to you guys, man, because
Appreciate
this I
that, King.
believe in this, man. I believe in this,
More
bro, and keep it up, man, for real.
Appreciate it. This
appreciate that.
is our story. You know what I mean?
More
It's
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
we're a family, and this is a you know many stories that are interweaved with one another, where lives have been changed and influenced by one another. You know what I mean? Like
oh, man.
we basically have been feeding off each other, off the peace, off the love, off the unity. You know what I'm saying? With one another, and it's created like not a monster, but it's created something beautiful. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah,
I felt it was important that we preserve it, speak our story, you know what I'm saying? And because there's so many other organizations right now sharing stories of negativity, sharing stories of backdooring each other, violating each other, using violence, dirty tactics against each other, and it got a grip on the youth where they're
big
thinking
time.
that that's how um organizations should be moving. And I'm like, yo, nah, like yo, we got a story where it's a positive one, you know what I'm saying? It's not squeaky clean, it's not flawless, it's not perfect, we have our negativity too, but overall, it's a story of righteousness and striving for upliftment. You know what I mean? And we need to
That's
preserve
beautiful.
it. We need to speak on it. We need to build on it. You know what I
That
mean?
that's just
So
beautiful, man. Because I
yeah,
think that's
man.
you dispel so much by doing
Hmm.
that, and you give reference for cats that are coming in to go back to things. You know what I'm saying? Look back,
Yeah,
look back. You know what I'm saying? So that way, once you got something to go back to, man, you could know how to find solutions. So that way, you don't go down the same road. You know what I'm saying?
facts.
You can't keep going down the same revolving door, man. We got to figure out, you know, the solutions sometimes are in the past. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So doing
right,
this right here is an important thing. And again, uh, uh, conversations like this provide healing for folks that may have not felt heard or maybe been wanting to share their story. So I believe in
right.
this, and I love this. And let me ask you guys, um, how long you guys have been running the show so far?
Since the end of July, early August, like it was our first episode was the end of July.
That's
You know,
beautiful.
so this
Man, time
So so
flies.
so so this
or
time, so you about a couple of months from a year. Hey,
yeah,
Yeah.
hey,
yeah, we're
you
like we're really like 6 months in, like you know what
yeah,
I'm
that's
saying,
beautiful.
6, 7 months. You
Can
know
you
what
see
I mean?
yourself? Can you see yourself by next year branching this outwards towards the other side of the world to like say South America to have them starting to be a part of this?
Yeah,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I just
absolutely.
don't want the language barrier, you know, but we'll get somebody to you know what I mean, translate and all of that. We want to give everybody the spotlight. We want to tell everybody's
Mm-hmm.
story, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And you know, we wanted to talk about our love for hip hop, the culture, the community, you know what I mean, the
The right way too.
revolutionaries.
The right
Yeah,
There
the
you
way.
right
go.
way. Yes, indeed. You
Yeah,
know what
the
I'm saying?
people.
So
It's the people's voice right here, right here. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
you know what I mean? We just want to have a mix of everything that Zulu's about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Zulu
yeah,
wears like a lot of hats. We wear a lot of
yeah.
hats. You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to have that type of reflection, that type of energy on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
That's dope,
God
man.
willing, everything goes according to plan, but we're striving for greatness. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And just continue, you know, to build it organically. We ain't paying for no views, likes, you know what I'm saying? We take the good and the bad, you know what I'm saying? And we're just striving to tell our story. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Maybe not,
You,
maybe it's not
you,
for everybody, but for those
no,
that's real and recognize, like, you know what I mean? What we're striving for, you know, tune in. You
just
know what I
remain
mean?
consistent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I urge you guys remain consistent. Whichever one of you guys are tech savvy, um, do yourselves the solid and save storage of all these recordings outside of the digital format online, so that there could be an actual digital library that you guys can create down the road outside of this
Hmm.
website.
Right,
Um,
right.
just in case, you never know. Just in case some bullshit happens with the website, they merge, they sell off, or some BS. You always want to be a step ahead. That's the knowledge. That's a little bit of what I share with you guys because that's how much I believe in this, and I don't want you guys to lose this. That'll be the worst. You get what I'm saying? And this type of history is is needed, man. I applaud you guys tremendously, man. For real.
We
Thank you.
applaud you. We
Appreciate it,
applaud you
King.
for your,
Word.
your works, your dedication to Zulu, to the community, to the city of Newark, to the state of New Jersey, uplifting people. Just keep on that path, man. Don't lose your focus. And I tell you, in addition, brother, to taking care of your community, taking care of your chapter, taking care of your neighborhood, take care of yourself too. Don't lose focus of that as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
because we
Come
need
on.
Well,
you
yeah.
here
I,
healthy. And I when we get you
yeah,
back
yeah,
on, I want to talk about some near tragedies that you've experienced as well. Because you got a lot of things going on, and we want to revisit that,
yeah,
God willing. Um,
yeah. We will.
so
We will.
yeah, we'll get you on soon in the next few weeks, you know what I'm saying? March or something like that, whatever it is. Whenever
Yeah,
you
let
have
me know.
time, let's build and let's get part two going to touch on some things.
Hell yeah, let me know. We'll do a follow up. We'll have some fun. You know what I'm saying? We'll
No
bug
doubt,
out.
definitely. Definitely, brother. Appreciate you, King, for real. Stay focused, man. Stay blessed and keep
Thank
doing
you,
your
King.
thing. For
I
real.
appreciate you guys so much. Thank you again for this opportunity to share with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Peace to you guys. Be blessed. Have a
Peace.
good night. Everybody who get a chance to check this out, man. Peace and blessings. May Creator bless y'all all. Keep up the good fight. Keep up a good life. I hope.
Peace.
Beautiful.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Well said.